Let's talk about all of the things that I'm gonna be using for baby number 2. Well, not all, we'll go with most of the things because I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I have so much going on in my life that I don't even know what I don't know at this point, and there may be things that I'm unboxing when we actually do finally move that I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I do need that. So most of the things that I'm using for baby number 2. Of course, I do need to leave a disclaimer. Every baby's different. This is what worked for my baby, and what worked for my first baby may not work for my second baby, but I am a queen of just pivoting when it comes to being a mom. I feel like you have to. So this is what I guess I'm gonna start out by using, and number 1 is the most important of all, and it is the Newton baby mattress. This is hands down the number 1 item that like I think every parent needs. It is a 100% breathable mattress. You can literally put your face on it. There are so many tests. Anytime you've seen an influencer talk about it, I'm sure you've seen them like literally show you, they will shove their face right up next to it and you can breathe through it. So if your baby does roll over and sleep on their face like Ezra did when he was like, he really was a belly sleeper and like a full face sleeper when he was like 5 months old. I mean, so young. And now that he is 13, almost 14 months, he sleeps, you know, with his face to the side. It's still a little nerve-wracking, but it's just fully breathable, and you can literally take the cover off, throw it in the wash, and if they were to get like throw up or poop or something on it, you can take it outside if they were to like get something on it and hose it down with the water hose. So that's really nice. There also is like a waterproof side to the liner for toddlers who may like leak through and get pee on it. So it's not only a mattress that's breathable, but it's a mattress that's like feasible for having a kid. You know, there's not this whole big difficult process to cleaning it. But the fact that it's just like breathable for your child is incredible. And I will say, like, we plan on doing the exact same thing with this baby that we did with Ezra, and that is he is going to be by my side every single night until he rolls over. With Ezra, that was, I think it was just like a couple days shy of 5 months. And so he also was like getting really big at that time. So it was time to let him go into the crib. And it was definitely stressful the first night, but we saw how much better he slept. So just to kind of cover that, like, yes, the baby will be sleeping beside me, but like the Newton mattress is something we want for when the baby does transition to his nursery. Now, this is a very controversial one, but I'm gonna just say, because I can sing its praises all day, the snoo. I asked our pediatrician before we actually even had Ezra, you know, what her thoughts on it were, and she did a little bit of research and she was like, you know, I think it's fine. She was like, the only thing is the process of it like rocking and then them not actually rocking when they're in their crib. She was like, I saw something about a weaning mode, but I don't really know that much about it. Like, I couldn't really get a good read on it. So that's really my only thing. Is she was like, but I don't have any hesitations about it. So, you know, if that's the one you want to go with it. And I will say that Ezra was a rock star with the weaning mode, but the reason that I'm going to be using it again for baby number 2 is Ezra is the best sleeper. He has so many good self-soothing techniques. And we actually have a friend who I've talked about this before. Their baby also used the snoo. She's also a great sleeper, and her self-soothing techniques are exactly the same as Ezra's. Now, I don't know if that's a coincidence. I don't have many friends who have children, but she's 4 months younger and definitely just like they self-soothe the same way, and I just think it's kind of funny they both were snoo babies. So I do recommend, I have a full review video up on our vlog, but I do recommend if you are going to buy the snoo or you're looking into it, please don't ask mommy boards or, you know, just ask like the general public. Ask people who have used the snoo, and of course ask your pediatrician and do your own research. But like, I found that the people that were like, oh, you should not get the snoo, had never even used it. And that would be like me listening to someone, you know, say I wanted to get a BMW or something, and someone being like, oh my God, you do not need a BMW. And I'd be like, oh, why didn't you like it? And they'd be like, oh, I've never driven a BMW. Like, I just don't think you should buy it because of these, you know, reasons. And it's like, but you never drove it. So our pediatrician okayed it. Definitely do your own research, but if you're gonna ask people what they think about the snoo, I recommend only asking people who have the snoo. But we have a full review over on our vlog channel. That's what I'm gonna say about that. We will definitely be using it as our Bassinet option for baby number 2. The Infant Optics baby monitor. I have my pen here because I had a list. I didn't want to forget anything. And that is like, I literally have it like starred and underlined. I love that baby monitor. So I don't like the one we have because of how small the screen is. I will be getting the bigger screen, but I refuse to have Wi-Fi cameras, Wi-Fi baby monitors, anything with Wi-Fi inside my home videoing. Google it. Google it and then tell me what you think about it. And I know some people really swear by their security cameras in their home. Not here in the Robinson household. We do not do that. So I wanted something that was going to still work, was going to have a pretty long range, but also that did not have Wi-Fi, and Infant Optics hit every single marker. Plus it's not expensive, it's easy to use. And we have been extremely impressed with that with Ezra. So we will be using the same monitor, but with the bigger screen option for this baby. And I mean, he's still, we probably don't need it as like much as we do. I find that now he kind of does sit quietly sometimes, and I'm like watching the monitor more now that he's almost 14 months just to see when he goes to sleep. But that was something we have used, I mean, literally since night one. Even it was just easier to have the monitor already over the bassinet. And then that way, with every single like noise that they make and how they screech in the beginning, it was really nice to know, okay, he's just screeching, but he's still asleep. I don't actually have to lean over and check on him. So I definitely recommend a monitor from night one. Go ahead and have it hooked up to that bassinet, because you don't realize how much you're gonna have to lean over, and just like not having to lean up and get out of bed when you're exhausted is really nice. Honest diapers are hands down my favorite, so we'll be using those again. I find that they compare in price to others. Ezra has not had any weird reaction to those. Huggies, oh my gosh, anytime I use Huggies diapers, it does not matter what kind, he gets the worst rash, and it looks like extremely painful, and it makes me feel so bad the couple times we have tried different brands of Huggies. So we're just going straight out of the gate with Honest this time. I'm gonna be honest, I think the patterns and prints are really cute, but I just think that because they are a like better brand diaper and they're not super expensive, we'll definitely be using those for baby number 2. Changing pad covers. I don't know why I don't see more people talk about these, but let me just save you, okay? I watched tons of like day in the life with a newborn, day in the life as, you know, a stay-at-home mom with a newborn. I watched tons of those videos in prep for Ezra, and the one thing that I noticed across the board was in the middle of the night, a couple things. One, people were fully getting out of bed when their child would need like changing or feeding or something. And two, I would notice that they would get up and go to a changing pad that was in a different part of the room to change the baby. And I was like, I am not doing that. And I am so glad I didn't, because one, it made everything faster. Two, it didn't wake me up as much. Three, it actually didn't wake Sam up as much if I didn't need him. So these changing pad covers are waterproof. And yes, they are actually waterproof. Trust me, we had many accidents when Ezra was a teeny tiny little baby where, you know, you'd pull the diaper off and he would just pee everywhere. I learned pretty quick to have the other diaper ready, but this just kind of eliminated the need to get up out of bed and go across the room. That was the one thing I was like, I am not trying to fumble around in the dark to change a baby's like diaper. And that actually helped, because then I was taking Ezra from his really soft cozy bassinet and I was putting him in a really soft cozy bed with the changing pad. I would change his diaper really quick, feed him, and then immediately just put him back in his bassinet. And I don't know, it made everything easier. So get you a bunch of these, and then I believe ended up buying 2 full packs, and then every night they just got washed. Like I just used a new one every night with the regular laundry, because it was just the easiest to do it that way, and he inevitably would get something on it. Spit up, pee, whatever. He did get on it, but I do not get out of bed if you don't have to, mama. You're gonna be exhausted, but that can help eliminate so much, and like you just don't realize how much more awake you are getting out of bed versus just pulling that baby in bed, doing what you gotta do, and then being done. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest with you, the term squirmy newborn does not make sense to me. People are always like, oh, I hate buttons. You're gonna hate buttons with the squirmy little newborn. My newborn like laid there like a little potato. Like he was just like arms up, legs up, like tight. Like the buttons were not the problem. Any kind of closure was annoying. I didn't have this like immense hatred for buttons until my son reached 8 months old. And then it was like an alligator roll trying to get him to change his diaper. Even now, 14 months old, there are literally times that my watch will think that I have worked out because I've given my son a diaper change. So it definitely depends, but the term squirmy newborn, I just don't understand when people are like, oh, no time for buttons. But I will say when your kid's like 8 months old plus, magnetic onesies and 2-piece sets are actually, in my opinion, the best of all. So magnetic onesies are great. I found pretty quickly that I just didn't like onesies for sleep situations because it's so much easier to just pull the pants down, change the diaper, pull the pants back up. So that may not be everyone's favorite because yes, they do have potential for their belly to be exposed, but Ezra absolutely loves his little pants and shirts. I find that it's a lot more obvious when they're getting a little bit uncomfortable and they're not fitting as well, but also because it's not pulling in this like one piece, you do have a little bit more time that they can actually wear a 2-piece set that doesn't fit as well. But the magnetic onesies are nice, but I will just say, like, I did not understand the term squirmy newborns and people like constantly scaring me and being like, you're gonna hate buttons. Anything with buttons is just the worst, because my child was literally a potato and then he wasn't, and the alligator rolling and the I don't want my diaper changed, and I was like, I need a 2-piece set, please. So I'll link some of my favorites below for y'all. Muslin burp cloths. You don't need crazy burp cloths, you don't need tons of different brands, you don't need you know, anything embroidered. Just literally get like dirt cheap muslin burp cloths. 1, they absorb easy. 2, they wash easy. 3, I find that they're pretty long, but you can buy just like dirt cheap packs of them, and we ended up getting like blue and white, I think, and then my mom got gray and white for her house. We went through them all the time. But like muslin burp cloths are just the best. They're easy, they're absorbent, they're lightweight, they're not, you know, anything crazy. You don't need 400, but you probably need like, you probably need like 50 when your kid's a newborn, especially if you spit stuff a lot like mine did. But I feel like we were underprepared for the burp cloth situation, and then also we had people that got us like a bunch of cute burp cloths, which at the end of the day I didn't want to use because I was like, oh, I don't want to mess it up. And I just actually ended up loving the like really cheap muslin burp cloths. The Baby Buddha pump is hands down, without a doubt, the best pump on the market. I got rid of my Spectra completely. Now I did use the Mom Cozy, and I liked those for when we were like going out. Like there was one time we went to eat at our friend's house and I just took my Mom Cozy portable pumps with me because at the end of the day the Baby Buddha does still like stick out, and I just wanted to be able to chill. So I literally put my Mom Cozy like pumps in my bra and just sat on the sofa with everybody else, and it didn't bother. I mean, my friends didn't care if I breastfed in front of them, but Ezra, this one particular night, I just like wanted to kind of let them, you know, play with him. So I just pumped and then gave them a bottle, and they fed him. But I think the Baby Buddha breast pump is hands down the best breast pump because it doesn't have a ton of settings. It is so freaking powerful, but it is not painful. I mean, there definitely are some settings like that you can get up there and it's like, oh, that feels like it's gonna rip everything off. But I just found that it got the job done, and I don't know if it was because I pumped so quickly. Ezra had no issues latching. He had no issues with like feeding or anything like that. So pretty quickly I got the breast pump out and I was like ready to go. I was trying that out. So it really did help my milk come in a little bit faster. But I also just kind of got the hang of it pretty easy. I like that it's wearable, it's portable, the charge lasts for a really long time. And I actually follow a ton of exclusive pumping accounts just because I wanted to really get the best knowledge for when I did pump for Ezra on what to do, and a lot of them actually use the Baby Buddha exclusively, or it is like their most used pump. Now I'm sure I'll get a couple questions about that, so I will quickly talk about it. With Ezra, I exclusively breastfed. Like when he was with me, it was very rare that I would let somebody give him a bottle unless it was like I needed a mental break or we were like out with friends or something. So what I would do is if he was with me, it was like he was just fed on demand and, you know, whenever. But I was a pretty big oversupplier for the first 3 months, and then my breast milk supply leveled out. Now Ezra was a 6-ounce baby. He never took 4 ounces. He always took 6. So what I thought was an oversupply at 3 months was actually just what he took. So I pumped a ton in the beginning because I had to. There would be so many times that like he would eat for like 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes each side, and then I would still be full. And like some people said, you know, oh, if you just let it kind of dry up, your supply will go ahead and regulate. And I was like, yeah, but if I can just pump right now, I can stash this away for later. And I am so freaking glad I did that. So what I did was I fed him, and then for the first 3 months would just like pump after he was done eating, take whatever I got, and that would like contribute to my stash. Once he went into his crib at 5 months old, he stopped waking up at like the 10 o'clock feed. So I would still stay up. So he would go to bed at like 7:30. I would still stay up until 10, do that final pump, get a full amount of milk out, and then that would also go to my stash. So I was really only pumping like once a day, or maybe if, you know, my mom had him or something, I would pump if like she took some of my milk with her. It was very on and off. There wasn't a real big schedule to it, but that was like the best thing ever, because again, like it gave me a little bit of freedom, and we were able to stop breastfeeding at 7 months. Things say that 7-month-olds can't self-wean. If that's not self-weaning, then I don't know what is, because it was just like Ezra was over it. He was like, I don't want to do this. Like, I just want to eat my food in a couple of minutes and be done with it. And so I talked to his pediatrician, and even she, like, we were trying to feed him while I was there, and she was like, yeah, that actually kind of does look like self-weaning to me. She was like, you know, most often you kind of just see a rejection, but if you want to move to formula, absolutely move to formula. She kind of talked me through, you know, her favorites. And I said, well, so I have this stash, and should I give him 100% breast milk now and then just until it runs out? Or should I give him just like 1 to 2 breast milk bottles a day and the rest be formula, because that would obviously make that stash stretch out a little bit? And she was like, that's the better option, because it's going to stretch it out. And I finished right about November, and she was like, you know, we're coming into flu season, so if he gets sick, switch and go 100% to your breast milk stash, and then when he's done being sick, you know, go back to the 1 or 2 bottles a day. He only got 1 to 2 breast milk bottles a day. The rest were formula. If he got sick, we would switch and do all breast milk. And he got breast milk until literally the night of his first birthday was the last bag of breast milk. So I was very proud of how persistent I was, and even just pumping 1 time a day after he had gone to bed when I didn't have to. And those first 3 months when everyone was like, oh, don't do that, like you just want your supply to regulate, like don't pump excessively. I'm so glad that I stuck with it, because I was able to be done at 7 months, but my son was still able to get a little bit of breast milk. And here in this house, here on this channel, we don't shame mamas for how they feed their babies. Like we just need moms to feed their babies, and that's it. The Philips Advent bottles are the only bottles that we've used that we have loved consistently. We did try Tommy Tippy for like 5 seconds, and they were fine. I mean, there are a lot of good bottle brands, but I just found that like Philips Advent was just the easiest to like access. You could get the most like nipple options at all different stores. If, you know, he was ready to go up to a different nipple size, I found them easy to clean, not a lot of parts. So yeah, not really much I can say about that, but we'll be using the same bottles for baby number 2. The Hatch sound machine, oh my gosh. I stand firm, this thing is not great for newborns, but it's great when they go into their nursery, because it always has a light. So whenever I was like tapping it, I just needed it to either have a light or not. I also found that the light on it wasn't the brightest. So when Ezra was like a newborn, it was just really annoying to have to deal with like the sounds and noises. And then also the Snoo has a built-in sound machine. So that one kind of quickly got sent to his nursery. And then once he was actually older in his nursery, I found that it was really convenient, because you can set it for start times and stop times. And so he will now, I'll have it click on at 7, and he actually doesn't go down until 7:30. So we will have the sound machine click on at 7, it starts playing that like white noise, and at 7 o'clock you can see him kind of be like, oh, I hear my white noise machine, and like he starts to kind of wind down. 7:30 he's in bed, and then I have it click off at 8, because he is just a baby who thrives on a schedule, and if he wakes up any later than 8, he is a gremlin for the rest of the day. And so it clicks off at 8, and if he sleeps then at 8 o'clock he'll like sit up, and usually he's so smiley, so happy. Most of the time he does wake up at 7:30, and I'll just go use the app and then turn it off. But I stand firm. Not my favorite in the middle of the night when you're exhausted and you just like need a night light on or off. But when they go to their nursery, that thing is really convenient to be able to just control from your phone. And then finally, the recliner. So we actually are using the same recliner for this baby as we use for Ezra, because we really don't use it for Ezra that much anymore. He kind of just chills out in the living room with us. His room is really small. but we used it a ton when he was little, and sometimes now we'll like rock him in there, but if we're reading a book to him or something, he like brings the book out and like he likes to sit on the sofa beside us. He actually is really big into sitting beside us now. So we will just actually be taking the exact recliner that we have and moving it into this new baby's room, and we love it. It has a great ottoman to it that has storage underneath. I mean, it's just a really good, nice one, high quality, and it's gonna serve its purpose for this baby too. Okay, that was a lot longer than I thought it was gonna be, but I wanted to make sure that I really covered everything that at least I know we're gonna be using. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. So I'm 30 weeks when I'm filming this, like 30 weeks and some change. And at this point, Ezra's entire nursery was done. Now we are moving this time, so there's no point in even getting a nursery ready because the baby will, he better not have to come to this house. If we get delayed by that much, someone check on my husband and me, because we're gonna have lost our minds. But there's just no point in setting up a nursery. We had clothes, we had bought diapers, we had diaper bags, we had prepped. And this time I'm like, do we even have newborn diapers? We probably should get some, shouldn't we? And Sam's like, I think we have some somewhere. So it is definitely a different ball game this go around, but I hope you guys like this video. I hope it kind of helped you see what you should get for baby, your first baby, your second baby. We love all of this stuff. And of course, if you guys have any additional questions, you're more than welcome to comment them down below so that I can answer if someone else has the same question. And also make sure to follow us over on our vlog channel, because that's a lot of lifestyle content. And I do share a lot more baby stuff over there because I do like to keep this channel mainly fashion. So thank y'all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.